What's going on, guys? JSGC 171 here, and we're here for another Premier League transfer update. Probably the last Premier League transfer update I'm going to do until it gets to right near deadline day, so that's not for another, 10, 11 days. So, we'll see. So we're going to start off alphabetical order, obviously. We'll go for Arsenal. Arsenal obviously already signed Kolasinac and Lacazette. They've not really done much more business. I feel like they're lacking maybe one or two more players. But if they can keep hold of Alexis Sanchez, I imagine that's like a new signing in terms of outgoings. Chesney's joined Juventus on an undisclosed fee. Just going through all the transfers I've not actually covered before. Mavridi's joined Preston on loan. Gabriel Palista's joined Valencia for an undisclosed fee. So not a lot of business really from Arsenal. So maybe they might do one more signing, perhaps before deadline day. We'll have to keep an eye out for that one. Obviously, they won the first Premier League game of the season, so we'll have to see where Arsenal end up. Bournemouth already added Defoe, as everyone knows. Signed Nathan Ake, £20 million. Big signing. Signed Conor Mahoney from Blackburn. Asmir Begovic also added earlier on into the window. In terms of outgoings, Max Gradel's left on loan. He's gone to Toulouse. And also Lewis Graben has joined Sunderland on loan. So they're loaning a lot of players out. In fact, all but one of their transfers are all loans. The only one is Harry Cornick's left to go to Luton for an undisclosed fee. So, again, we'll have to see where Bournemouth end up. I think quality addition in Defoe and Ake, so they've certainly strengthened their squad. For Brighton, we'll start with the outgoings first. Loaned out quite a few players. Oliver Norwood's headed out to Fulham on loan. I'm just doing brief highlights because there's a lot of players there you probably won't have heard of. Kazenga Luar's also headed out to QPR on loan. Christian Walton's headed out to Wigan on loan. A lot of players leaving on loan. The only permanent transfer again to leave for Brighton is Rob Hunt's left to go to Oldham for an undisclosed fee. Brighton have added a lot of players, obviously look for a lot of strength in depth for their Premier League squad, so we'll get through a lot of that. A lot of these players are players I've certainly never heard of. So Pascal Gross has joined for an undisclosed fee from Ingolstadt. They also added Marcus Suttner from Ingolstadt for an undisclosed fee. They've also added Matthew Ryan, goalkeeper from Valencia, undisclosed again. Josh Kerr from Celtic, undisclosed. They've also added Matthias Norman from Bodo for undisclosed fee. Izzy Brown from Chelsea on loan they've signed. They've also managed to sign this guy, quite interesting, called Stephen Alzati from Leyton Orient. Interesting. Perhaps a youngster there, suggested if they're bringing in a player from the conference. They've also added in a couple more foreigners. They've also signed Ali Matajou from Plazen, Davy Proper from PSV, and also Soufiane and Hanak from Almere City. Interesting. We'll see. Brighton, of course, lost the first game of the season, so we'll see how they get on over the weekend. But certainly adding to their strength in depth, so that certainly helps their cause for trying to stay into the Premier League. Burnley been a little bit more busy over the last couple of weeks. Got off to a slow start in the transfer window. Obviously adding Jonathan Walters from Stoke, Charlie Taylor, both for undisclosed fees. They've also now added Jack Cork for the midfield, good signing. Phil Bardsley from Stoke, and also Adam Legzdins from Birmingham. Now they're looking probably for a striker. Obviously Sam Vokes is a good striker, but with Gray leaving, also Michael Keane leaving, they've got a lot of money to spend, so maybe we might see a little bit more business late on in the window from Burnley. As added just then, I've already said, Joey Barton's been released, Michael Knightley's been released, Michael Keane's left for £30 million. They've also got rid of Andre Gray, which is around £18 million. So big sales from Burnley. Are Burnley going to stay up? Time will tell. Chelsea, not been as busy, frustrating obviously for Antonio Conte. You can see it in his face, really. They're disappointed in the transfer market. We saw it last week with a loss to Burnley. They signed Caballero for free, so there's the replacement for Begovic. They've signed Morata for an undisclosed fee, perhaps a replacement for Diego Costa, who refuses to come back from Brazil for some reason, because maybe he wants his move to Atletico Madrid, which for some crazy reason Chelsea aren't trying to push the issue. They want him to return and he doesn't want to. So he's gone AWOL, a bit like the Carlos Tevez situation with Man City a few years back, if you remember. They've also signed Ruggier from Roma, central defender, good player, good signing, and Bakayoko from Monaco, again, central defensive midfielder, solid signing. So some good solid signings there, maybe not added as much quality as what they were hoping for, maybe one or two players short. Maybe time will tell on that. Of course, they're competing in the Champions League, so they have more games. Now, a lot of players have left on loan and undisclosed. I'm not going to go through them all because there's just an absolute catalogue of players that they've got rid of. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I'll just go through briefly some of them. Zuma's left to go to Stoke on loan. Loftus-Cheek is headed to Crystal Palace on loan. Tammy Abraham's gone to Swansea on loan. They've obviously sold Nathan Ake, as you already know. Begovic has gone to Bournemouth. Christian Atsu's joined Newcastle. Cuadrado has finally left to join Juventus. There's many more, like Izzy Brown joining Brighton on loan and stuff, Matic joining Manchester United, and Lewis Baker joining Middlesbrough. But just go on Sky Sports or on the Premier League website and you'll see the whole list. If you're a Chelsea fan, probably already know, but if you're interested, there's about, it looks like there's at least 30 players to get through, so I'll be here all day really. Moving on, Crystal Palace, obviously adding Frank de Boer as their manager. Managed to add in a couple of players. Loftus-Cheek, obviously, we just said from Chelsea. They've also signed Riedewald from Ajax for an undisclosed fee, and Fosu Mensah on loan from Manchester United. So some good signings there, but they are one of my tips that might struggle in the Premier League. So I imagine they might be looking for maybe a couple more players. Obviously, Frank de Boer is trying to change the style of play to what Palace have been playing over the last couple of seasons. Might need a couple more signings to implement that change. Obviously, they sold Steven Mandanda to Marseille for an undisclosed fee, and the only outgoing there. Interesting. Everton have been really busy. Spent so much money, but obviously they've got a lot of money because of the sales of the players. So they brought in Pickford, Klassen, Michaelo, Onyuku, Ramirez from Malaga, Michael Keane, Memphis Donker, Bowler, Wayne Rooney, undisclosed from Manchester United, Lewis Gibson, Martina, and obviously recently £45 million rated Gylfi Sigurdsson. Good signings, solid signings actually, and they're really adding now, signing some good quality players at Everton, so it'll be interesting. I think they just lack just that little bit up front. I think a big loss with Lukaku, and if Barker leaves as well, it's another big loss. So maybe they're just lacking just a little bit on the attacking front, but certainly in terms of strength and depth and everything, Everton really adding to their quality of their side. Interesting, a really interesting summer. Got rid of quite a few players as well. Cleverley's gone to Watford undisclosed. They've also got rid of Deulofeu to Barcelona in the strangest signing in the summer, apart from Paulinho to Barcelona. Doing some strange business, Barcelona. Brendan Galloway's joined Sunderland on loan along with Tyus Brown, and Lukaku's joined Man United for, I think, around £90 million. McGeady's left to go to Sunderland for a couple of million. Gareth Barry's left to go to West Brom recently, and also we're waiting to see what happens with the Ross Barkley situation as well. Interesting for Everton. Huddersfield managed to add quite a few players to their squad, adding a bit of strength and depth. They signed obviously Depoitre, Moy, Losey, Tommins, Palmer, Danny Williams, Mooney, Scott Malone from Fulham for undisclosed fee, and Morfus Jorgensen from Copenhagen. Interesting signings there. Interesting from Huddersfield. And they've got rid of quite a few players as well, so obviously looking for a little bit of a turnaround. Scannell's joined Burton on loan. Mark Hudson's retired. They've also got rid of a few players to the lower league, like Hiwulu's joined Fleetwood. Horsfall's joined Gateshead on loan. So, adding to their strength in depth. Leicester managed to add quite a few players as well. Jakupovic from Hull, goalkeeper Harry Maguire for, I think it was around to £18 million. Sam Hughes, Ibora, Iheanacho, George Thomas, Harvey Barnes on loan from Barnsley. Interesting that. Good player, good signing for Iheanacho and Maguire. We're interested to see how Leicester do. I think these are the type of signings Leicester will probably be targeting from now on, rather than looking for players that are already established, having to look to sign younger players and establish them into good players. So I think Iheanacho is a good quality, bit of business for them. We'll see how he gets on. They've sold Tom Lawrence to Derby County, Elder to Wigan on loan. Robert Zeal has gone to Stuttgart on an undisclosed fee, and Kapustaka to Freiburg on loan. Okay, Liverpool probably one of the most disappointing sides in the transfer market. They've only managed to add 3 players. They're competing in the Champions League again this season. And the strength in depth in Liverpool, in my complete honest opinion, isn't fabulous, and they're still lacking a little bit in defence. Managed to add Robertson from Hull though, so left back, so they're not just got James Milner there now. They've got Solanke joined from Chelsea for free, and Salah, great signing to go up front, but with Coutinho maybe leaving, they may need to do a little bit of business before deadline day. In terms of out, there's nothing too sinister there. Wisdom, Conor Randall, Ojo have all left. you know, like I said, not a lot of business. Man City have added a few players, spent a lot of money. Douglas Luiz has joined and gone out on loan to Girona. Danilo has joined from Real Madrid for £26 million. Finally got the man Mendy for around £45 million, I think it was. Kyle Walker for the same amount. Bernardo Silva added in the window and signing Edison as well. So all these players kind of stepping into the first team for City. So they're adding some much needed pace to the side. And got rid of quite a few older players. Zabaleta, Clichy, Navas, Sanya, Moy. There's quite a few players that have left actually. And Cham, Hart, Kolarov, all left. Also got rid of Fernando, Brandon Barker's head out on loan, Kelechi Iheanacho, Marlos Moreno, Angelino. Enes Ünal's headed to Villarreal for a permanent fee. Angus Gunn's gone out on loan. Selena's headed to Ipswich. A lot of loan players there, like Chelsea really. Check that out again if you want to see how many Man City got rid of. There's a lot. Man United have only added 3 players, but 3 quality players in my opinion. Lindelof, who's got great potential for a centre-back, joined from Benfica. Matic has been signed, experienced to slot inside the middle, maybe as some help for Carrick, and also Lukaku up front. So some good signings there. They're meant to be closing on the signing of Ibrahimovic as well. So that would certainly suit Manchester United. Expecting maybe to sign 1 or 2 more players before the window closes. Got rid of players. Rooney's left. Sam Johnston's left out on loan. Harrop's left for a free contract. Fosu Mensah's gone. Borthwick Jackson's gone to Leeds. Januzaj's left finally to go to Real Sociedad. And there's a few more young players that have headed out on loan. Newcastle added Atsu, Lejono, Stefan O'Connor, Jacob Murphy, Joseph Miani, Manquillo from Atletico, Marino from Dortmund, and Joselu from Stoke recently signed for £5 million. So some decent signings there. Nothing to break the bank or too wow factor, if you get where I'm coming from there, from Newcastle. So maybe I predict him in my transfer in my Premier League prediction to finish 9th. Maybe I was being a little bit generous there. Maybe they'd just be happy just to stay up. Got rid of quite a few players. Foden's left to go to Marseille. Vukic has gone to FC Twente. Adam Armstrong's joined Bolton on loan. Gouffran's gone to Gostep Sport Club 3. Daryl Murphy's joined Nottingham Forest. And a few other players have headed out on loan to lower league as well. Southampton with Pellegrino as a new manager, who I didn't realise is extremely tall. Jack Rose has joined for free. Signed Lamina from Juventus and Bednark from Poznan. Disappointing. Really disappointing. Yeah, maybe I think the main objective is maybe to keep hold of Van Dijk in centre back. But in terms of additions, I mean, there's not a lot of quality there from Southampton. So maybe we might see a decline in Southampton this season. Unless they add maybe a couple of good players over the coming weeks. Got rid of Lloyd Grove, he's been released. Quite a few players. Mike Caceres has left, released, and loaned a few players out. Jay Rodriguez has left to go to West Brom. Jason McCarthy's left for undisclosed fee too. So, yeah, Stoke City family started adding some players. Hesse from PSG on loan, Martens Indy from Porto for around £6 million. They also signed Choupo-Moting from Schalke, Zuma on loan from Chelsea, Pemberton from Blackburn, Timon from Hull, and Darren Fletcher. So finally some additions for Stoke. Maybe might help their cause now to trying to avoid relegation. Maybe starting to slowly but surely look a little bit more solid in my opinion. So I were my dark horse to be relegated, but they can maybe sign 1 or 2 more quality players. Then I think they might be okay. Backman they've released. Given's been released. Phil Bards has left to go to Burnley for $750,000. Arnautovic is left to go to West Ham, so he still needs maybe a little bit of pace adding to the squad. Jonathan Walters has left. Glenn Whelan. Joslu's gone to Newcastle. So some really experienced players have left Stoke there. Swansea. Tammy Abraham's added on loan. Mace has added from Las Palmas for 11 million. Mulder for free. Walsh from Finn Harps. Harry's from Cov, and Baker Richardson from Leaming. So really weird signings there. They're sold Sigurdsson. They've got some money to spend now, so they need to spend that wisely. So we'll see when it gets closer to deadline day who they add. And maybe after players like Boney and that. So we'll have to see. Gomez left, Sigurdsson's left, Borja Baston's left. Lacking a striker, lacking attacking players, wingers as well. Barrow's left, Jack Cork's left. There's a lot of players leaving Swansea here. Are they cornered, maybe? Tottenham The most disappointing side this window have added nobody. You know, concerns. I think just yesterday they were close to announce. That have already announced him actually. Some guy called Sanchez. I don't know who that is as their first signing. I don't know anything about him, so maybe they should be looking at signing maybe 2 or 3 more players, if I'm honest with you. I mean, they've got £45 million for Kyle Walker. They've sold Fazio to Roma from undisclosed fee. You know, they've earned a little bit of money, but maybe they're just trying to, you know, save some of the money for the new stadium, perhaps, which really is a shame, because Tottenham, with a couple of quality additions, may well have been a serious threat for the title, but for me, I think they should be aiming maybe for top 4 and see how they get on at Wembley. We'll see this weekend when they face Chelsea. Watford, Marco Silva, the new manager. See how he gets along. Signed Tom Cleverley, Will Hughes, Bachmann, Chaloba, Richard Leeson, Andre Gray. Some good signings there. I think they've got more than enough about them to stay up. Watford, getting rid of players. Barami's left, Mario Suarez has left, Bagulas has left, all left for undisclosed fees. So much of a muchness there for Watford. I think they'll stay up. West Brom signed Gareth Barry from Everton, good signing there from undisclosed fee. They've also signed Ben Pearce, Higazi, Zhang and Jay Rodriguez, doing what Stoke do really. It's a good replacement, Barry, though, for Darren Fletcher, who left to go to Stoke. Pocognoli, Zong, Danilin and Ethan Ross have all left, so we'll see just how West Brom get along, but I think they're one of the more solid sides in the Premier League. I'd be surprised if they end up being in a relegation fight. Tony Pulis, very experienced manager. West Ham signed Marco Arnautovic for, I think, around £20 million, Javier Hernandez for £16 million, Haska Banovic from undisclosed fee. They've also added Zabaleta and Joe Hart. So good signings there for West Ham. We'll see how they do the season. I think Chicharito is a fantastic signing for West Ham. I think he'll score. You know, he's always going to score 10+ goals for them. So it always adds to their strike force. Obviously with Andy Carroll playing up there, adds some much needed goal poaching. In terms of outs, Arbeloa's left. There's a lot of players left actually. Reece Oxford, Nordivite, that flop, Stephen Hendry, Darren Randolph, Ashley Fletcher, Reece Burt, Josh Cullen all headed out on loan. Ashley Fletcher's left for £6.5 million, Randolph to Middlesbrough for £5 million. Middlesbrough spend a lot of money in the Championship trying to return to the Premier League. Really interesting. So I'm expecting to see quite a few more deals to go through by the time deadline day comes about, because it's really started warming up now in the transfer market. So we will have to see. Now, by the time this is gone up, this would probably be after the fixtures at the weekend, so I don't actually know the fixtures at the moment whilst it's been recorded and edited. So obviously I don't know what's happened this weekend as to what's happening with the teams, or whether players are good signings or what's not. So apologies for that. So there's been JSGC 171. Don't forget to subscribe, because we've got a lot more transfer videos and a lot more football videos coming up if you want to watch them. Don't forget to leave a big thumbs up if you like the video, and I'll see you for the next Premier League transfer update, which will be about 10 days time. So in JSGC 171, have a nice day. Peace. Ciao for now.